Please note, although I am reviewing the 40th anniversary remake of the Generation 1 Soundwave, I will be using the Generation 1 tech spec for not only Soundwave, but also for Laserbeak and Ravage. Before we get into the actual action figure itself, let's take a look at Soundwave's tech spec. Function, communications. Cries and screams are music to my ears. Said that Soundwave can hear a fly sneeze. He uses anything he hears for blackmail to advance his status. He is an opportunist. He is despised by all other Decepticons. His sensors can detect even the lowest energy radio transmissions. He is able to read minds by monitoring electrical brain impulses. He acts as a radio link for others. He locates and identifies Autobots, then informs the Decepticons. He carries a concussion blaster gun, often the target of retaliation by his comrades. Soundwave is rated an 8 in strength, a 9 in intelligence, a 2 in speed, a 6 in endurance, an 8 in rank, a 5 in courage, a 6 in firepower, and a 10 in skill. This gives Soundwave an overall rating of 6.8. Okay, welcome to my review of the Generation 1 40th anniversary remake of Soundwave. Before we get into the action figure itself, let's see what you get when you order one. First off, you get this box, Generation 1 logo. You see some basic instructions on how to transform Soundwave. Decepticon communicator, Soundwave. And he does include Laserbeak and Ravage, who I will not be reviewing in this video. I will be making their own videos because they are their own separate characters. On the side, we have Laserbeak, Soundwave, and Soundwave in the radio form. We have an epic space battle. Optimus Prime, we've got Prowl, we've got Sideswipe, we've got Bumblebee, we've got Starscream, Megatron, Soundwave, Ravage, all of them. We get their tech specs of all three characters. And then on the side, it's the same on the other side. So that's the box. Then, you also get Laserbeak and Ravage, his two cassettes. There are different sets which include, Rumble and Frenzy or other things like that. So check out for that. You also get two cannons, which go on Soundwave, and they do not fire, by the way. Even though you do get projectiles, the projectiles simply just go into the cannon. There is a button here. You would think that it would launch, but all it does is just loosen it so you can pull it out again. And it does not even have any springs in it, so does not fire, unlike the original one. However, all those spring cannons have always had problems with breaking. Lastly, you get two guns for Laserbeak and two rockets for Ravage. Now, let's go. Oh, hold on. I almost forgot something. You get an instruction manual of Soundwave and the two cassettes. Alright, now let's bring them in. So, unlike the G1, original Soundwave, his eyes are red, like the cartoon. No rub symbol, for this is a remake, and those could have had some problems. Pretty good looking toy. He looks almost identical besides the head.
and he's lacking the metal buttons here, but oh well. Side view here. He stands pretty nicely too. Back view. Back view's not terribly great, but what do you expect? You do have his switches here. Side view. And back to the front. Now, personally, I prefer what they've done here to the G1 toy, which is why I bought it. Which is actually kind of strange because I typically prefer the G1 toys over the remakes, but this I think is the best remake that you can buy. Now, I'm gonna put his shoulder cannon, which is the one that does not extend. All you got to do is give it a little pull, like so. This cannon extends, and I usually put that in his hand. You can put a projectile in there if you want to, but I'm not going to because, I don't know, just don't love the look of him. Now, let's transform him. So the first step, you push in his feet, push in his hands. I then spin his head around. You push it down just like that. Now, see how there's no space here between his torso and his legs? Just want to pull his legs gently. You don't want to break them. There we go. This leg is having a little bit of trouble. Don't really like that about the toy. So now his legs are pulled out. Next, you want to put his arms back behind him. And these do snap into place. Just got to push on them. And they push forwards as well. So you want to push in. You want to push up. Then you twist his legs around to the sides. You bring them up until they are at a 180-degree view. Whoops. Open up his chest there. Then you want to bring the legs up. You want to push up on the legs. There we go. Everything snaps into place. Then, if you wish, we'll put Laserbeak in. He can carry a cassette, only one cassette though. And then he is now transformed into the radio, cassette, Walkman, whatever you want to call it. Pretty good looking toy. We'll get a little view here. We have the front, side, we've got a fake volume dial. From the back, you have his battery panel, which, now that I think about it, open that up. If you take his cannons from earlier that we took off, they actually do fit as batteries. So you can put in his batteries. Kind of adds to the playability of it, you know. So shove them in. It's very hard to do this one-handed, so I'm trying my best here. Then the side, we have an on-off switch. Doesn't do anything. There's no electronics. So this is my review of the 40th anniversary re-release of Soundwave, remake of Soundwave. Stay tuned for my final thoughts. And if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Transformer reviews. The next one should be the actual Generation 1, not Soundwave, Shockwave. Now, here are my final thoughts on the 40th anniversary edition of the Generation 1 Soundwave. First off, I have to say that this toy looks like the cartoon character. It looks very cartoon accurate with the red eyes, with the coloration, with the chest, with the buttons, everything. I also have to give it props for the articulation.
in which you can pose this thing in a lot of different ways. Will put Laserbeak on one arm and Ravage in front of him, or have one arm shooting one way, have the other, punching in one way. You can do a lot with this toy. Lastly, I think that the playability of it, being able to carry one of the cassettes just like he did in the show is great. Now, as for negatives, and this is probably only for my edition of the toy, but I noticed that the right leg sticks a little bit, and it's very difficult to pull that thing down. But that is probably not with all of the toys and probably just mine. Overall, I would say that this is a must-have in a collection.